about Trevor Etienne? What did you guys see?
Man, you can't ask me about him.
Can
Nah, I can't. That's a Coach Smart question.
I did want to ask you, how is Branson doing just as he's coming back from that injury and what he's been
Yeah, he's a little overweight right now, but that's to kind of be expected because he can't run yet. But he is doing everything medically and from a rehab standpoint to make himself the best version of himself. So he'll do everything to get back. He may try to do too much because that's the type of person he is. And he was telling me the other day that, man, I feel good. I feel like I can run. I said, man, you better chill out because it's you got to do exactly what the doc and the trainers are telling you to do. So don't rush it.
What is what's the timetable on Brent as far as when he's going to be able to get on the field, contact, et cetera, et cetera?
I don't know the exact timetable. I do know that he probably will not be involved in spring football practice. So he'll just be basically rehabbing and getting the mental part of the game. So he'll be in every meeting like he has been the entire year. So that part hasn't changed, and he's very motivated. He takes notes like he's the starter right now. So love his work ethic, love his drive, and he has that. I don't want to say it. Y'all said before the Nick Chubb kind of mentality. He's just a different guy when it comes to just trying to get back and prepare himself from a physical and mental standpoint.
Are you counting on him for next year?
Always, but I can't predict the future. I don't have a crystal ball, so we have to do what's necessary as an organization to make sure that we're ready for this brutal schedule.
Correct me if I'm wrong, that's about as serious of an injury as a running back could have, correct? With the type of injury he had, or?
Yeah, I'm not a doctor, so that's above my knowledge. But like I said, I think he's going to do everything he can to put himself in the best situation to be healthy.
Why did you all want Etienne to join your program?
You didn't hear the first time?
What?
You got to ask Coach Smart that, man. Coach Smart, that's a smart Coach Smart question.
In general, what is the importance of having, because you signed 3 guys, you got 3 coming back. Why do you need a SEC veteran?
I think it just provides leadership. He's played in this league. He's been very productive. You all watch the tape. He's a very good player.
What did you see from the 2 seniors, Kendall and Dejon Edwards, during their career? To speak to their
one thing that speaks volumes is how they've been resilient. They had plenty of opportunities to turn in the towel and quit, but they worked their butts off. And Kendall, speaking on him first, very talented, great family. Chris and Carla have done a great job with Kendall and raising him, and he's got great work ethic as well. But he just battled injuries freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, and even this year. Just to have the mental capacity to keep pushing speaks tremendously of his character and his drive. And just having him in the room, he provides a lot of leadership to our younger guys. I know from a physical standpoint, he hasn't been able to be the physical presence or the physical example that you will want from an older player because of his injuries. And when you lose that much time as a running back, you still have to, the reps that you lost, you still got to try to regain those different reps and catching the football, pass protection. So he's done a great job of getting himself back, and he's played very well down the stretch for us. And glad he's almost healthy, but he's still wearing a knee brace even right now. So his hamstrings are taped up. So it's not like he's 100%, but he's pushing through, and that's the life of a running back in our league too.
Dell, Florida State's defensive personnel that's going to be in the game is going to be very different than what you've seen on film. What's the challenges, or what's kind of how does that change your preparation?
Well, I don't think it's going to be different. They're a 4-down structure. They're a quarters-based team. They're going to play man-to-man. The defense coordinator's the same. They still got the same coaches, so they're going to play their butts off, and they're going to do what they've done all year. We're expecting nothing but the best from Florida State, but we're going to provide our best effort as well. So we're just going to try to send our seniors out the right way, and try to get them the 50th win of their career, and that'll mark a historical moment for that class. And that's our purpose for being here.
not to compare cultures. Florida State's obviously had a bunch of opt-outs. Even in your room alone, you have 2 seniors that are playing in this quote-unquote meaningless bowl game. What has been the importance, or what has been the message to get your guys to stay bought into this football game?
I wouldn't call it a meaningless bowl game. Over the last 7 years, we've been in a New Year's Six bowl, which is a tremendous feat, and it speaks volumes of Coach Smart's leadership and the players that have been involved in that streak. And it speaks volumes for the kids that's playing in the game. They love one another, they got connection, and they want to go out winners, and that's what we demand out of this program. A lot of the guys we've recruited, that's what we look for. You gotta want to play, you gotta embrace the grind, you gotta have a different mindset when you're part of our program and under Coach Smart's leadership and the standard that he demands, and you know what you're getting yourself into. If you're healthy, then the expectation is for you to play. If you're not healthy, then you got to rehab and take your time, and it's a next man up mentality.
I've heard Coach Smart talk about, prerequisite number 1 is for the love of football. You got to love football to be around Georgia. How do y'all test that? How do y'all look for that in players?
Yeah, I think when you're in the recruiting process, I try to make sure I get to practices to evaluate, how they love football. In a lot of instances, guys will have trainers. So that is another example of a kid going above and beyond the structured time of just working on their craft. I don't think you can really test it. Some high school programs are a lot different than others. So you know what you're kind of getting. An example, we're in Miami James Cook. Miami Central practices are bloodbaths. So I knew exactly what kind of work ethic, the verbal abuse, so to speak, that was received. So you could kind of say he's going to be fine in our program. And in other programs, you can kind of see the standards not as great, and things aren't emphasized as much as they're going to be in our program. So it's just more so getting to know the kid, getting to know the parents, trying to see how they're wired, so to speak, and it's just a best guess estimate. But we do try to put our due diligence in observing the things, not from a physical standpoint. The physical part is what it is, but I just think it's your mindset and how much you love work, hard, resiliency, things that when things happen negatively, how do you respond to that? And going to practices and games, I think, allows us opportunities as coaches to evaluate that part of the kid.
The 3 freshmen you guys are adding, what stands out to you about those guys and what you're adding?
3 different guys. I wish they were all here now, but they're not. But they're 3 different backs. I think you got one that has more power, one that's elite speed, and then you have one that's a combination of both and can do everything. So they're going to definitely play off one another in their skill sets, and then it's just my job to get the pass protection and pass routes and all the volume that's kind of have to be acquired in our offense to be successful.
Dell, I think the last few years we've been asking you trying to recruit running backs in our offense. It's passing more in a world that's passing more. But is college football cyclical in that, like, I'm starting to see more NFL and college teams playing 2 high safety? And is this going to come back, you think, or are we starting to enter a zone where the running back and the running game is going to come back?
I think we run the ball a lot. I don't think that you're not going to see the I formation come back with a true fullback or a wishbone triple option. I don't think that's going to come back at all. I think the more of the spread offense is duplicated in high schools, and that's kind of what they're accustomed to. So you're kind of a byproduct of that. I think you see that in the NFL as well now. You're seeing more spread teams in college, and that's kind of correlating to that league as well. You don't see a lot of NFL teams go under center
I don't mean
every
that.
snap.
I mean like the value of physical football and good running.
Yeah, I think you got to have physical football and you got to have good physical running backs. That's never going to stop in my mind. I don't think that value has deteriorated at all. I do think if you have a back that doesn't have to leave the field and he can run in between the tackles, he can be effective in the passing game. He doesn't have to come out on third downs because he's big enough and physical enough to pick up blitzes. Then you got what you want as a complete back. But that's why you got different flavors and different variations now from our standpoint. I think in the pros as well, where you see multiple backs that are playing for teams because of the brutalness of the position. I mean, that's probably the hardest position from a physical pounding that you can take than any other position on the field in my mind.
Are those guys more common than maybe like unicorn type tight ends like Bowers and Washington? Can you find more running backs?
Yeah, every team in America has one, and some go unnoticed, and some have a lot of fanfare. So talent is talent, and you got to try to pick out what's important from a running back position, and just make sure they got the right mindset to be as successful as possible.